Hey, I'm Matt Ryan, and welcome to Hellblazer Biz.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, listeners and viewers wherever you may be in the world right now. You're tuned in to Hellblazer Biz with your host, as always, me, Chris Gordon. Coming to you as a gold partner with the BS Podcast Network, so go to the bspodcastnetwork.com to see all the other great shows out there. Today's a little different as I introduce a new style which I'm offering to some of you who become Patreons of the show. Please check my Twitter or website for details, because I would truly appreciate all the support you can give to turn this into a TV show. Today I bring to you a friend of mine and the show, and the one I always get asked to bring back on. He's the only John Constantine worth his salt on the screen. As well as being a successful stage and screen actor, he was the salty pirate Edward Kenway, and most recently seen on ITV in the Halcyon as Joe O'Hara. I welcome back Matt Ryan. So I'll just say that again. Hey, sorry, everyone, I'm here with Matt Ryan.
Hi, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good, thanks, Matt. Sorry, I know this is deja vu. We've just had this conversation. It was great to see you at Wales Comic Con the other week.
Yeah.
Huge crowd turned out for you again.
Great. It was awesome, man. I've done that one a few times now, and it's always a great time. And Jamie organises it. It's great, and it's always a great weekend.
It is, yeah. Nice to come home for you as well, isn't it? Back to Wales.
Yeah. I drove all the way from my parents in South Wales all the way through the middle of Wales all the way up there. You know, so it was a really nice drive on a nice spring sunny day.
I know the weather was actually gorgeous there as well. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
it's normally throwing it down with rain and usual Welsh weather, but you know it's quite nice.
It was beautiful.
Cool. Anyway, no, I do appreciate you coming back on as always. You know, I mean, you are a friend to the show, and you're the reason I started this thing. So it's always nice to keep in touch and catch up. But yeah, I'd say it'd be great. It's lovely always catching up with you. I've been inundated with questions for you, Matt. I really have. So I've had to tailor a few out because some we've talked about before, so they are up there. There's a lot of new ones as well. More Edward Kenway, which is fantastic. There's some obviously a lot more for Halcyon because that was an amazing show. I just want to say that myself now. I loved that show to bits. It's really, really good.
Thanks.
And that ending, yeah. The ending was just. I mean, I kind of gathered that with what had happened with her at the end when she saw, I can't remember his name, when she saw him standing in the street. I was like, oh, hang on a minute, he's not got any blood on him. What's happened? And then all of a sudden it was just like tears streaming down my eyes. It was like, oh, it's so sad.
Yeah. It's good. So I was getting that in little bits then, but yeah, no, it was a hell of a shoot as well, doing that last scene, you know, with all the people there and you know all the period setting, and I thought the director and the producer were just awesome, and all the extras. It was great to film, and we had such a great cast, and it was awesome.
Brilliant, excellent. So I've got loads of questions, well, a few questions about that as well, but I did love that. I've got to say, I love a good war drama, and the Halcyon was just up there. It was a different take on it all as well, and even when he got killed when he was doing the anti-aircraft guns, and God, it was non-stop. It's a nice build up, and then it's like a crescendo at the end with certain things coming down, you know, and lots of mixing storylines, and obviously
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely, and bringing up as well the young character, the gay character in that time as well, when it was deemed in a stupid era when it was deemed illegal. So that was nice bringing that into the storyline and showing that, you know, people were going through that kind of thing at the time. And getting
it was great. I thought it was very diverse in that way, you know, which is great for drama, and every great actors as well to work with, and but yeah, no, I thought the show, the producers, the way they weaved all the different storylines together was great, and there were some really kind of diverse characters in there, and I think that's what was kind of special to the show, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite funny because there is a lag here, so I can hear you talking, and your mouth is stopped.
Yeah, I know.
So I do apologise.
Same as you. Yeah. Same as you. That's all right.
So yeah,
right, fire away, man.
Fire away. Yeah. First of all, I would just like to bring in. This is a new thing I'm trying as well. I mentioned it to you before. I'm doing a patron thing where if people become a patron of the show and sort of donate a certain amount, they can come on and ask their own questions. I know it sounds pretentious, but I thought it was a good way to bring fans to you. And this one in particular, this bless her, she met you at Wales Comic Con. She was dressed as the female Constantine on the Saturday. Cracking cosplay, but I think when she got to your table to ask you all the questions, you blew her a kiss and you just melted her, and she froze completely. And so she,
not be blown.
so she's so she's got these questions to ask you. So if I bear with me a second while I just should be split screen now. Can you see? Hey, Aurelie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aurelie, this is Matt. Matt, Aurelie.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Bit nervous, of course.
That's
there's no need to be nervous. Oh, there's a little bit of a lag on the Skype here, so if you don't hear me properly, I'll try and talk slowly, but a little bit of a lag. It's actually better now, isn't it, Chris?
It's just got a bit better, yeah. See, coming from France, it's obviously made it all better.
So I obviously, I don't think I recognize you because obviously you were dressed as Constantine. But
if you give me a second, I can help you there.
you had the jacket.
Yeah, she had the jacket on, the coat. She looked really good. It was a really good cosplay, to be fair. Now, if you just bear with me a second, where's that photo?
You weren't smoking, though. I hope you weren't smoking.
No. Oh, good. Can you? Oh,
good.
Oh, can't see that. Sorry, Matt, that's huge.
Do you want to fight? That. Oh, yes, there you are.
There you go. Excellent. So, Aurelie, you have some questions for Matt. Would you like to shoot?
Yeah. I'll start with this one. So when you play, you said at the Q&A that you kept dying because you had like pirates level 3 chasing your ship. You know, so I was wondering if you upgraded your ship to the max.
No, I haven't upgraded it at all, and I think that you can get like all the downloadables as well, which I think at one point my friend at Ubisoft, one of the guys, they sent me like the codes for those things.
Yeah.
But I never did it, and I think that's probably why I keep on getting killed.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I think, how can you die when you've upgraded your ship to the max? I've played a lot, and I've upgraded my ship completely. And it's nearly impossible to die.
Yeah, but I've not upgraded my ship.
Neither have I either. I always die as well, don't worry.
Yeah, and my ship, I've not upgraded it, so I think that's why I die all the time, you know?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
So what's your next one then, Aurelie?
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to make a film version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Would you like to play Edward?
Sure, yeah, why not? I mean, it's a great character, and yeah, why not? Have you seen the Assassin's Creed movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
I thought it was really good. I know some people would say that there isn't enough action, but I think it's interesting actually not to have the whole really action movie approach and how can I say this? Dig more into the philosophy of the assassins. You know.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I was wondering if you could play any role in anything, any movie, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it would be something kind of like a Shakespeare role. Like one day I'd love to play like King Lear. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be something like that, or Hamlet, or one of those great Shakespearean roles. Yeah, that would probably be it. One day I would love to play King Lear.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll do it. You'd make a good Hamlet, really.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. I think you'd be good in anything anyway. So,
Ah, that's you. Well,
and
it's been lovely talking to you. Have you got another question, or is
oh, yeah, is there time for one more?
One more, go on quickly.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering if you could work with any director that's working right now. Which one would you like?
Oh, there's a lot of directors that I'd love to work with. Like I love David Fincher. I'd love to work with Guillermo del Toro, Martin Scorsese. There's so many great directors out there that I'd love to work with, and yeah, you can only kind of hope for those kind of dream jobs. But those are the kind of directors who I am fans of when I watch movies.
Yeah, okay, right.
Well, okay, thanks very much, Aurélie. I shall.
Thank you. It was lovely to see you again. Have a great time.
Yeah, lovely seeing you too. I'm gonna blow you a kiss because you blew me one at the con and I couldn't return it because I was too nervous. So here you go.
I got it. It's here.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye, Aurélie.
Bye.
Bye.
What's next?
What's next? All right. I work for Sony PlayStation now, which is obviously this. I'll just say, yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm helping doing the release and doing the pipelines and release stuff like that. So I will have to say, because now I've mentioned that, I'll have to say this has got nothing to do with Sony PlayStation. This podcast, nothing. All comments are my own. Now that I've said all that, but I've had some. Yeah, I've been advertising out to get people. Obviously, they were huge gamers. So I put it on the intranet to find out, that I'm talking to you, and I've had quite a few questions as well coming in from work. From gaming ones, these are quite in depth as well, so I'm looking forward to chatting about these. Emily Kay, first of all, she says, how cool is Edward Kenway? She says, as someone who's experienced acting for games, film, and TV, why do games inspired from films seem to do so badly, even if they've got avid fan bases? In your opinion?
Do you know what? It's an interesting question. I don't know. I think that maybe it's a difficult one, isn't it, to transpose from a video game to the screen. I think maybe it's because the games are so vast and there's kind of so many different. You go on so many different kind of storylines or mini storylines within the main thrust of it, and I don't know. I think it's probably hard to kind of put that into a movie and stay true to the vision of what the game is, but also kind of dramatize it for the screen as well. I imagine, but it's interesting that it's the reason that they've not done well, or they've not done so well. Some of them, I think, is because the core fan base of those not kind of liked it or approved it as much as kind of they would have hoped. I think I think, but then I don't know, like how Assassin's Creed is just, I haven't seen that. How what's that movie like? It's is that done? I thought that's done well. No,
I've not seen it myself. To be fair, it's still on my list of backlog things, but I thought it's done not too badly. It's got some quite good reviews. I think it's
that's what I thought.
Michael Fassbender's always good to watch anyway. From my opinion, I think he's
great.
He's a great one in there. So, but yeah, it's still on my list to watch.
Interesting question that though, and I think that it's one that kind of we'll see, won't we, as maybe some more of those things are adapted to the screen, if that can become in any way a successful formula,
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or if it isn't already, I don't know.
Yeah, because games are actually coming much more to the forefront, aren't they? Now there's loads more gamers out there, and the games that are coming out are pretty much mini movies. I think this is coming a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. It's great, and I think that when I did Assassin's Creed, I wasn't really kind of. I think it was just then, or just before then, they were starting to do all the motion capture stuff. So as an actor doing a game, it was a completely different thing, a different technique, and a different medium from just doing a voice for a game. You're actually doing motion capture. So you've got you see now in lots of these big games, you have a lot of really well-known actors doing the parts in them, and like Kevin Spacey did one, didn't he? And Ed Harris has done, and you see like all these because it's an interesting medium to work in, and I think that's a great thing for games, and just the way that the graphics are now in VR. Have you tried VR?
I haven't, no.
Like the virtual reality?
No,
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy.
I should do.
It's great, but I had to kind of like take a little bit because I was like, you get kind of a bit dizzy and stuff. But
Yeah.
just how far the technology's gone and what they can do with games and all that sort of stuff now amazes me every day.
Oh, it is. I mean, where I work, you see them all testing it anyway, so you see them like, arms float. It is good. But I need to try one. Definitely need to try. They're just a bit expensive for me at the moment. My son's badgering me for one. Kind of moving on, in that sort of vein then, from the film, Simon Barry Brisbars said, when you worked on Assassin's Creed and doing the voices, did you do them together with the other actors, or do you record on your own?
So what happens is we were shooting. The game was being made in Montreal, and you shoot in a big studio where there's 80 cameras all around the studio, and you wear the Lycra suit and with all the baubles on and stuff, and you're basically in a virtual world. You can see on a big screen your virtual self. It's pretty crazy and really fun, and you interact with the other actors. It's like a cross between doing TV and theatre, because you have to do a scene in one take.
Yeah.
You can't kind of like, you have to do it. You have to play the scene whole, like you would say if you were rehearsing a scene for theatre. And that you don't have to do your individual angles. That happens afterwards.
Yeah.
So that whole process is kind of like fascinating, But you do interact with the other actors, but not necessarily the actors who are going to be voicing the characters afterwards, or be mapped. Because there was a few actors that I didn't interact with, and there was a bunch of really amazing actors in Montreal that would come in and do all the scenes, and then later someone would come in and go to the studio and wear the helmet and then do the voice on the top,
Right.
So the answer to the question is like you are interacting with other actors, but then sometimes another actor might come in and do the voice afterwards.
All right. Okay. Cool.
For some of those other characters.
Great answer.
Yeah. And then you go and spend like a couple of days. You go and spend a couple of days in a booth, doing all the gameplay stuff, and that's always a fun day. And I think I blew my voice actually, because doing all the shouting and the like calling and the top sales and all those things. I actually blew my voice out at one point. But I think I've been working for like six hours straight shouting, and I was like, I can't shout anymore. But it's great fun, great medium. I'd love to work in that medium again in some way.
Fantastic. That's actually interesting to hear, because you don't hear much from how it works with voice actors and stuff like that as well. So it is a great new way for guys like yourself to get out there and it's a whole new audiences for you to perform to as well. Got some Digi Assassin, which is a friend of Emily's who's at work. What are your thoughts on the lineage of Edward Kenway? Because all the assassins that came before were born or bred into the assassin or the Templar lineage, but Kenway was almost thrown in. Because in fairness, he was a pirate. He just stole the assassin's identity. Do you feel it makes him any less of an assassin if he was first of his line to become the assassin?
No, I think that what's great about Black Flag as a game is not only the amazing setting that it's in, which provides kind of such a great backdrop to run around in and explore, an amazing world, all those beaches, and it's just like a great kind of world to explore, and some of the landscapes, and when you're on the ships, it's beautiful, it's very calming, and like until you get shut upon. But I think that the best thing about the game is that character arc, is the fact that he is someone, a normal guy just trying to find his way in the world, and he's brutal and he's ruthless and he's reckless and he's young and he's all these things, and he finds his way. The journey to becoming the assassin for him, spiritually in a way, is what is the most interesting part of the game and the storyline and the arc of Edward. I think that it's great when you're thrust into a story and it's already there, but to have a character kind of finding his way, is a great thing. Yeah, and I think that that's what makes it one of the one. Well, I can't say I haven't played all the games, but I think it's what's probably sets it kind of aside. I think for maybe some of the other Assassin games is
Yeah.
the is Kenway's Kenway's arc.
Definitely, I mean, I agree. I've played a couple of the other ones, and Black Flag to me is by far the most favourite because I like the sea. I wanted to be in the Navy when I was younger, so sailing around on old galleons and clipper ships like that is just
Yeah,
it's brilliant. And like you say,
and the amount of research that the writer on that
yeah,
was amazing. The team that worked on that were just absolutely awesome. And I mean, the script, like, I never actually got the whole script. I think at one point I asked for it and I got it, and it's like this big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and like, but all the details in those games, and it's, well, from what I know, really, of Black Flag, like, they're just so specific and historic, you know, and the attention to detail is just absolutely like mind blowing. It's great.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. You just mentioned something really good, which I'm going to keep in the future because I did my first film last year. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. Since we spoke, I was in an independent film which was filmed up in Rill. I got 20 odd lines.
You were.
I know, yeah. My foray into acting.
Oh, great!
I know my first on-screen thing, and I had 20. I was a featured extra, but it was quite a pivotal part, and they only sent me
20 lines.
Yeah, that's I know, shocking. I was absolutely gobsmacked when I found out I had that many. To be fair, you know, from my first ever role. Normally, I thought I'll stand in the background and be silent, but it was great. They only gave me a few pages of the script though, and this is where I learned now for the next time. Hopefully, there is one that I get the whole script because I went in there learning only my lines and did my scenes. And when I was there on the day, I found out that my character was actually a paedophile and part of a paedophile ring. Which was shocking to find.
Christ.
Yeah, so it's like a really really
kind of
dark.
good to know before you were, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It might have been helpful to know that, but they might have thought I might not have taken the part had they told me. I did get my comeuppance at the end, so. But yeah,
right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was dark. It was a good character to play because it was a dark character, and you know when I found out what it was like. But it just left me with a sick feeling because it's that kind of thing. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
Yeah, it's a terrible subject matter, isn't it? But
it is very much so. It's the storyline.
Cool, man. That's great. Congratulations.
Cheers. Yeah, no, you just flagged my memory when you said you read the whole script because I was like, yeah, that's a good idea because you never know what you're going to get into otherwise. Yeah. Excellent. So moving on to Constantine. I've got a couple for Constantine. Sloths and Aliens. April, her name is. She says she believes.
Sloths and Aliens?
Yeah, that's a Twitter handle. Okay. Sloths and Aliens. She believes you were born to play John Constantine. She goes, you bring the British bastard to life. And she's been a magnificent a fan of your work since Suspect Behaviour. So, when you were first told about playing part of John Constantine, how did you feel? And were you a Hellblazer before playing John?
So, I wasn't a Hellblazer before John. After John, who, you know, once a Hellblazer, you know. But no, what happened was actually a good friend of mine who actually writes his own comics and has his own comic book company. It's called Improper Books. Constantine in the Hellblazer series was his favorite comic book character in comic book series. So I'd heard it a few times from him. So I knew that he kind of was. He knew his stuff about it. So when I was up for the part, I called him and he kind of gave me the lowdown on it. And as soon as he was kind of telling me about it, I just kind of like fell in love with it there and then, you know. And obviously I went through quite an interesting process, quite a long process with the auditioning for the role because I was doing a play in London, and I couldn't get to LA to meet everyone. So I was doing these tapes, but I also had very long hair and a big beard. So I had to do so many tapes. And then when eventually I went to LA and got the role, it was unbelievable. You know, it was just it was such a great thing, such a great feeling, and then you actually feel the pressure a little as well because it's a huge role and it's a beloved comic book character with all these really hardcore, amazing fans, and it's like you want to do him justice and the fans justice, and you want to make the best project you can possible. So there's that, but like, you know, it's also you get so excited to get to play this amazing character, you know, and I just threw myself into the comics from that. And I can remember doing a trip to DC where they showed me around, and you know, they took me into the back store where all the comics were, and they were like, "What do you want?" And I was like, I want all the Constantine comics, Justice League stuff. So like all those comics, and they had to ship them to me because there was like boxes of them and stuff. And then I just started reading, and it was probably one of the most kind of exciting kind of moments in my career, really, to get to play that role. And it was a real gift, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah, and like you say, there's diehard fans, and I think everyone was a bit we've talked about this before. Everyone was obviously the trepidation after Keanu Reeves' movie came out, and it was just not what people expected Hellblazer to be like. And then you've come on, and I think you've probably had a roller coaster ride of 2 years of being named as the only true John Constantine character out there.
Yeah, until the next, right? Until the next. It's like,
no, to be fair,
but that's what's been great. And also, like, you know, I think shows come and go in this day of television, and in this business, well, you can't take things personally, you know. When a show doesn't get picked up, or you don't get a job, or something like that, you've got to be quite thick-skinned. But with a role like that, you do feel the pressure, and there is a world in which, you know, the show, got cancelled, but it was based on kind of, you know, other factors than what actually happened. So, you know, that was a responsibility of mine as well, to do the best work that I could. And one great thing about a show being cancelled is the fact that all the fans kind of, you know, they kind of got with me and the show, you know, as we were getting further into the season, and you know, trying to bring out the true Hellblazer kind of vibe, and you know, and that's just been just a wonderful thing, man. All these amazing fans, and you know, the thing is with a comic book character like this is, you know, it's been played by someone before, it'll be played by someone again, you know, and you know, I have a real like special place in my heart for it, because one, you know, it kind of made me grow as an actor, and it was a great time in my career, but also to kind of like to have been able to like dance a little bit with John, you know, it's like it was a great thing, and I wish we could have gone further with that, but you know, that's the way it is, and I think, you know, whatever they write about Constant in the new Hellblazer series will be great, and you know, whoever gets to play him again in any other medium will be great, and you know, we're doing the online series as well, the animated online series, so it'll be great to kind of explore that as well. So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride, man, you know, and that's the reason I'm speaking to you right now, you know, because of that role.
Exactly, yeah, and I'll say that and I'll say that likewise as well. If it wasn't for the Hellblazer fandom, I wouldn't be speaking to you, because I wouldn't be in this position, because that's what got me started out on all this track, and the wonderful fans and the wonderful friends I made there, and obviously with you guys as well, from the very first time that you jumped in on John Joe's interview and Kate crashed it. Those 2 years ago?
Yeah, I remember. I just got back in from America or something. I was like, what's going on?
And you'd planned it all along, you gits as well. Cool. So Kitty Constantine and Simon Barry Brisbois again. Can you tell us if the animated Constantine will be a reboot? It will lead into Justice League Dark, or will it essentially be a continuation of season 1?
Do you see these questions?
Are you allowed to answer them?
Okay, so basically, well, the thing is, the answer is I'm not sure. Now, as soon as what happened was, I was on holiday, and I got an email from David Goyer saying like, hey, look, we're doing this thing, and you know, do you want to do it? And I just said, I'm in, you know, because I love the character, and I'm like, yes, I'd love to do it. So all I know so far is it's in development at the moment. We don't have a date as to when we're going to be doing it,
right? Or
at least I don't know a date. You know, but all I know is what they're going to be doing is taking a very popular Hellblazer Constantine storyline arc and adapting it.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see in what context will it be in terms of the TV show? I don't think it will be a continuation of the TV show. I don't know. The thing is like there's so many great some of the best episodes of the TV show I thought were when we took the storylines from from Hellblazer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we'll do again. And the great thing is as well, like the great thing about John is the DNA of him is the same. It's interesting how he's transposed from the TV show to Justice League Dark, the animation. It's almost as if like you don't need to link the two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's an interesting thing, or it's certainly in playing him anyway. Playing, doing the voice work for Justice League Dark. It's the same character, and what's interesting in the world of magic, it's like John's existed in the comic books in so many different places and so many different times. It's kind of irrelevant, I think, but it'll be interesting to see what we do with it. I'm really looking forward to working with the team as well, on that and to get to voice John again, So I've actually started reading, I'm about to start reading some of the new Hellblazer comics just to kind of like, get into those as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, fantastic. I think the animated probably can open it up a lot more as well, because, God bless Dave Blass, absolutely brilliant, and I think he's one of the crew for the TV series.
Legend, yeah.
Absolute legend with Dave. But the animated series, like you say, when you got the different times and different dimensions, the animated series can probably get all that fixed in.
You can play with it a lot more. Exactly, and you can do a lot more with the magic as well, and that doesn't mean to say that it's, it's just another kind of it's a John in a different medium, in that, like Justice League Dark the movie, the way that they used magic, it's like, you do that on a TV show, you're talking that's like Doctor Strange kind of budget. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff yet, I don't think. But yeah, so it'll be interesting, man. I'm really looking forward to it. There's such a great team, and it'll be great to kind of see what happens. See what happens, yeah.
It'd be good to get him back again. Oracle Gordon on Twitter, that's a Twitter name. Playing the part of John Constantine means being a bit of a prick. He's known for his extreme take on how to get things done that usually doesn't jive well with others, she's put. How do you feel about him as a person, and how do you differ from him? Well, I can say personally, from knowing you for a bit, you're nothing like him, but...
Well, do you know what's great? Like, is that you get the chance to, like, when you're playing John, you get the chance to actually, I think that I would feel really bad. Well, I wouldn't be able to treat people the way that he treats people, and but no, I think that what's great about John is that it depends in which version you read him, or see him in the comics. There's such interesting storylines when he's so dark.
Yeah.
And he's so kind of, he's not just a prick. He's like, he's a terrible human being. Mm-hmm. And the one thing is like to have all that, but like, there's one thing that's maintained, I think, in all of those storylines, in all of the comics, is that just somewhere, and the thing is like, he's such a bastard, but he's doing it for a much bigger cause. Do you know what I mean? It's like his motivation is his super objective is kind of like you forgive him for being the bastard, but then he's I think what we like him is because of his wit as well. I don't know. I felt it's fun to play. It's, as an actor, like, it was really fun to play. Stuff, and I do realize that the show we were doing was kind of what I loved. What the writers did is they really got the sarcasm of it, and I think that sometimes when on network television you can't maybe go too dark. Mm-hmm. So if you've got that juxtaposition of him being really dark and tortured, then when he's light on top, it works. Yeah. I think what happens is the kind of if you can't have that kind of real darkness to him, then it kind of becomes a little bit kitsch, or it can become a little bit light. Do you know what I mean? Because he is so nonchalant and witty in the way he interacts with people. So there's got to be that balance. That's the great thing about the comics, is they can swear, they can really show him being ugly, like really ugly, and show his ugly kind of dark side. And then he gives a one-liner, and then that's the comedy of it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of love of the character. And I think, like, film is different, and then the animation is different, and also the times are different. Comic books are different to when we were reading people were reading Hellblazer back in the 90s, or the late 80s and 90s, and so on. So yeah, but it's a wonderful character to play. I think he's not someone I'd like to cross in the street. There's this great quote that was it Alan Moore said that he was actually in a coffee shop one day, and he saw John Constantine walk in and kind of look at him, and he lit up a cigarette. There was some kind of there's some article, look it up, right? I think it's Alan Moore or one of the creators. Look it up, right, for next time, where it was his encounter with John Constantine. And then there's been a few people who have actually said that, actually he's, they've bumped into him. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of like that idea. It's kind of funny, kind of fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll note that one
answers
down.
The question.
Yeah, I think it does now. That's good. That's a good answer. Don't worry. Cool. Moving on to Halcyon. A couple of questions before we wrap it up, because I know you've got to shoot as well. Is Kim Beecham? I think you know Kim. She comes to see you every time at Wales Comic Con.
Kim, yes. Yeah.
Awesome cosplayers as Edward Kenway. Brilliant one. I didn't recognise her at the last one because she was the Fry twins. She had a mashup of the Fry twins, and she was stood right next to me. And
didn't she? She was Edward Kenway, and then the next time I saw her, I think she was either in civilian clothes or in normal clothes, or she was something else, and I didn't recognise her. But,
she had the sideburns. I think last time.
Hello there.
Fantastic cosplay. And
excuse me, I'm going to have a drag of my cigarette in true John Constantine style. I'm going to have a drag of my cigarette.
Drag away. Kim's asking, what was your favourite episode of Halcyon, and why?
The favourite episode of the Halcyon. There were two episodes that I particularly liked. Episode 4. That was when Joe had the invitation to go back to America. And I think that what's great, what's difficult with a show like the Halcyon is you've got so many characters with so many different storylines. So, so in some episodes, characters are featured more than others and stuff like that. So but what I really liked was that episode, because he had a real dilemma about whether he was going to go and whether he was going to stay, and the way he entered, the hotel and kind of got up everybody's nose, and then kind of becomes part of the family. I really liked that episode 4. And then I don't know what the other episode was. I think it was the one with Emma. With the character Emma, when we're out in the we're out in the blitz, and we get caught in the room, and simply for the fact that I think that that was just I feel a side of Joe that you just kind of get to know them a little bit. Two people, there's bombs going on around them, and they're talking, and there's this chemistry between them, so that part of the character I really liked, kind of bringing to light. And then the stuff he had with Delane, the American, when they were fighting. But that's just my stuff. If I was thinking about the whole TV show, I really loved the stuff between Betsy and Soapy's character.
Yeah.
That romance. That's what I liked about it. The romance between those two. The romance between the Lord and the barman. Do you know what I mean? The Indian barman. It's I really like what the writers and the creators were doing that and kind of pushing those boundaries. I thought it was great.
They definitely, because I say it wasn't. It was just obviously back in the 40s. We've discussed this earlier. Obviously, the homosexuality was illegal, so pushing those and showing that it wasn't something that was. It's only just because a lot of people who I can't remember, the homophobic will just say, "Oh, it's only a new thing." It's not a new thing. It's been going on for generations.
Yeah,
it's had to be hidden away because
exactly, it was illegal, and especially for the if you look at it, it's what's great about the dramatization and the those characters is you've got an immigrant barman,
Hmm.
or wine waiter or waiter, is probably the best word or whatever, and then the Lord. So even
Well, yeah, take away the
that
homosexuality
is
side.
just
That the law, yeah,
in itself.
aristocracy and a
Well,
commoner. That.
exactly. So I love that, and then and also having a white woman and a black man,
Yeah.
those things, and then Lady Hamilton and the interesting relationship she gets into there, and then the love triangle between the three. It's a lot of storylines to juggle, and I think that. Yeah, it was really interesting to try and kind of, bring those kinds of themes into, a mainstream ITV show.
Yeah, definitely, definitely a bit of groundbreaking TV. Would you like to see it come back for more seasons? If it did, I know it's like a mini series and it's kind of difficult, but I think it could carry on. Would you like to come back as Joe?
I think it's such a interesting thing the that period of time,
Mm,
what was going on, and when you take on a job, that's why I love doing the job. Apart from like the team of people that I worked with, the actors I worked with, all the crew, and like the hair and makeup people and the costume department, like do you know what I mean? The whole
yeah,
kind of like team of that was just, it was awesome. And like but that period is like what makes you want to do a job. You're like, when I did Henry V, I had 2 months before I started rehearsals for the play, so I was
mm,
like, okay, I need to learn about the Hundreds Years' Wars,
yeah,
and then I was like, well, while I'm here, why don't I go back to 1066? So and I spent all this time watching documentaries, doing
mm,
research, and getting to know the play, and giving yourself an education and a history lesson is one thing I love about my job, and
yeah,
that's what was great about doing a World War II drama and then playing an American, and then trying to work out kind of what that is.
mm,
Who's he? How does he feel about things? What does he know politically
yeah,
about the time? What does he, all those things, gives you a lot to kind of, to get into,
mm,
and I find that, you educate yourself in the process, and get to know a lot more about history and stuff, and that's why I love kind of doing those kinds of jobs. I also like love just doing comedy, so, but that's what I love about acting is
yeah,
there's all these different things. Constantine with the comic books,
hmm,
Assassin's Creed with the whole franchise there, and the Halcyon, and then the
yeah.
Shakespeare plays. It's like it's that's what interests me, but it's those kinds of things.
Excellent. I mean, the mentality of Joe as well would be different because it was filmed just before the Americans actually got involved in the war as well. So it was a totally different mindset that they had
Yeah,
compared to what the Brits would have had. So it was really nice to
exactly. Yeah, I
see.
think I think I think the next I think that it was the next year, wasn't it? That the bomb dropped on Pearl Harbor,
Yeah, yeah,
and so it would have been interesting to see if they had brought that into the storyline, where that would leave Joe emotionally, politically, all those kinds of things,
mm,
and well, that's what would be interesting for the whole series, is to see this next phase of the war, how it affects them, and how they
exactly.
survive,
Yeah. So
So
there you go.
yeah.
That's a season two. Bring it in just after Pearl Harbor, and then we can see the dynamics changing. Cool. Melly, she came to see you on Broadway back in Therese Rakeen. That's going back
Oh,
a fair bit as well.
It's
Yeah.
Therese Rakeen now.
Was it?
Therese
Sorry,
Rakeen.
that's how I say it. I don't know. I
No,
can't.
no, no. I like Therese Rakeen.
How's it pronounced?
Let's
I don't know.
call it Therese
How do
Rakeen.
they pronounce it?
They pronounce it apparently well, in fact, it's like Therese Rakan or
Oh, right.
something,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
we would say Therese Rakan.
Yeah.
But I like Therese Rakeen.
That's just my
Yeah.
ignorance.
Oh, so she came to see that.
Yeah, she came to see
She
that.
came to see that. Oh,
I think.
I didn't know that when I picked it. I was like, so, yeah. Oh, she did.
Yeah, yeah. She was just asking you what your experience was like working on that out in Broadway.
It was a great experience, man. I think that like every job that I've done,
Hmm.
even the jobs that have been really tough, the jobs that have been really tough are the ones that I've grown the most from.
Yeah.
Like I can remember doing a play at the RSC when I just left drama school, and it was
Hmm.
kind of like a baptism of fire, playing this lead role in this very kind of dark, heavy play, and it didn't go as well as kind of we wanted it to, but then you get through and you pick it up and you learn. But no, Therese was tough.
Hmm.
It was tough because the novel is morose. It's a tough novel to read. It's
Yeah.
depressing. It's dark. And the thing is like with lots of kind of stories like that, Therese Rakan inspired Hedda Gabler, inspired kind of those kind of heroine those great kind of stories with heroines at the center of the storyline, with some kind of downfall.
Hmm.
And it's just that with that story, there's no let up. So, even with Hamlet, there's room to let the audience kind of have a little bit of breather,
Yeah.
with the Polonius stuff, or some of the stuff that Hamlet does can be kind of like that. But this play is just like hard hitting. It's just like,
Yeah.
So it was tough to go through that every night.
Hmm.
But also, when you take on a role like that, you kind of know what that is, and you know that that's what it's going to require.
Yeah.
And it was emotionally, yeah, yeah, you gave a lot. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Every night, and you do that with every player. I'm not explaining it very well. I think what I'm saying is that like it wasn't so much like a fun play to do.
Yeah.
You can do a play and it can be like fun. Even
Hmm.
though it's dark. Like um, this play wasn't kind of like fun, but it wasn't about that. It was about an exploration of
Yeah.
these kind of characters and how these characters kind of work together, and
Hmm.
the inevitability of these kind of tragic characters' lives,
Yeah.
and that's the story we were trying to tell. So
Hmm.
that's what it is. But what a great experience to like share the stage with Kira and
Oh
Judith
yeah.
Light, who's just like amazing woman. And I just saw her recently, actually, in with Al Pacino in LA, in
All right.
Pasadena, and she was fantastic. She's just one of the most wonderful human beings and one of the
Hmm.
most beautiful actresses. She's great, and Gabe Ebert as well.
Yeah.
And all the other cast. It's like it was a wonderful experience to kind of go out there every night in Studio 54,
Hmm.
which has kind of got like so much history in terms of what it used to be used for. You're like, it was a real privilege. It was great. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. I know what you mean about the. I think it's not fun, but rewarding, and because it does take a lot. I mean, I went to see
Yes,
the. Yeah,
exactly.
it's a rewarding type thing. I saw John Joe in the Crucible
Yeah.
last year when he was up in Manchester. Was it last year or the year before?
Oh, I know. I missed that because
You were working,
I
weren't
think
you?
it was.
It was in the.
I was away. Yeah.
But yeah, I saw
That's
him.
when I was in New York.
That's right.
That
Yeah,
was the
you.
year before.
It was yeah, you were doing Therese
Jesus.
Lacan then. Yeah, God, that's 2 years ago.
I was
Whoa.
doing. Yeah.
God, yeah, you were doing
I
that.
know, right?
Oh
And
God.
exactly. So it's like even though something, if you're asking about the experience of it, you go, well, that's not me saying it was a bad experience at all. That's me just saying, like, when you do those kinds of plays, those kinds of projects, that's what it requires, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they are wonderfully rewarding in different in so many ways, as in their own right.
Exactly, yeah, because I mean, poor John Joe was drained at the end of it. He gave so much in that. It was
Hello.
just, it really was. It's
I
yeah,
know. He sent me a picture, of just him just standing there in his pants covered in like shit. I was
yeah,
like, John Joe, what have you been doing today?
yeah. That's good. Cool. It's got a couple of uh, generic questions now before I'll let you go. Is one from Tracy up in Scotland. What's the weirdest gift you've ever received in a Comic Con or something like that? And did you pass it on to someone else?
Oh wow. I've had some great gifts, man.
Mm.
Like this girl in Wales Comic Con gave me these pictures. Oh, what's her name? And I will remember her name. It's on the tip of my brain. She had blue hair at the time, and like she's got the most amazing artwork. And I'm gonna frame them. They're really cool. But the most strange gift. The thing is, if I say it, then the person who gave it to me might be watching.
I know, yeah, and they'll be upset.
I don't know actually. I've had some strange ones. Now here's the thing: is like. Wait there, which one was the strangest?
It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
I don't know. I've had some. It's what? Sorry.
I said it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Oh, it doesn't have to be bad. Just like,
yeah, it's just strange. Yeah, just to appease people who might be listening. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there has been. I don't know, like random, like the ones that are like the funniest are just like the random when it's like something. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't know. That's a good question. Do you know what? I'm going to think about that for the next time because I've had so many, but like they're all popping into my head, and I'm like, there's got to be one like stranger than that. So let's. I'm afraid I can't specifically answer that question, but that one will be on hold until next time.
Cool. Angel Kitty, I know she gave you that pumpkin to sign, a foam pumpkin with the artwork she'd done for Wales Comic Con. I know that. I've seen that. Yeah. She showed me that before. That was really quite. Yeah, that's a cool thing to do.
That's a good one. See, Chris, yes.
Yeah. That's gone back to the States to an L Pro.
That's a good one.
Cool. And the last question I've got from a fan is Kim Gott. She's the one. She was overjoyed at the video you did for me for the Comic Con for that and the signed photo she received on Saturday. Yeah. So so appreciate that. And so she said she loved you in Armistice and looks forward to seeing you someday in 500 Miles North. Do you have any plans to work with Luke Massey again in the near future?
I'd love to work with Luke. I haven't spoken to Luke for a long time. I think he's been really busy. I think he's doing like some football documentaries or something to do with that. But I haven't spoken to him for a long time. I mean, like I think everyone's just been really busy, you know. But like that Luke and Ben as well. Ben Reed, who produced the movie and wrote it, and Warhouse Armistice. He's the guy who writes comics. Books. He has some great comics, man. He has some like awesome comics. Yeah, cool. Look up Improper Books. Like it's, and that's not just a plug. Yeah. Like that's like it is really good. But yeah, I love those guys, and we had a real like good little team going there, you know. And Joseph's been away in America, and I've been away, and in this business, and like as friends as well, you just kind of like travel, and it's when you do see each other, you're just like it was just like it was yesterday, you know. Yeah. But I think if the opportunity arose and there was the right project for everyone, then why not make something that we can all be proud of, you know?
Excellent, fair enough, cool. That'd be good to do. Okay, I'm going to throw one in now. I've started to ask this question, Matt, to everybody because I had Mike Quinn on last year. He was a Muppet. He's been a Muppet for 25 years. Right. In the nicest of ways. He's worked with Jim Henson. He's the guy's a Muppet. No, he's worked for Jim Henson for 25 years. So he is officially a Muppet.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So for you, if you could be a Muppet or have a Muppet character after you, what kind of character would it be? Think hard, you must.
Wait, the Muppets, right? Or it's like
it could be a Muppet, it could be a Fraggle, Sesame Street, yeah, the whole lot.
Fraggle, I used to love Fraggle.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Well, when I was a kid, like I had a friend, and I always used to call him Bert, and he always used to call me Ernie, and we used to shake each other, and he used to say, Bert, Ernie, stop it, Bert. Oh, okay, no, it was Ernie and Gonzo.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was like, and Ernie'd be like, Ernie, stop it, Ernie, and he'd be like, oh, okay, Gonzo. So I don't know, Bert or Ernie or something.
No. Bert, I can't sleep, Bert, I can't sleep. That's my Bert and Ernie. Did you hear that all right?
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, it was a little bit broken up, but I think it added to the quality of
my poor impressions of. You've heard my Yoda, didn't you? You've heard my Yoda before, yeah.
I heard your Yoda. You just did it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing it again. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of brings me to the end. Is
It
there
was
anything,
good.
yeah, anything you want to say to before I stop recording? Is there anything you want to say to people who are watching and listening?
What do I want to say? I don't know. You know what I want to say. It's been a pleasure talking to you again, man. It was great seeing you in Wales, and I'm going to be doing the London Heroes and Villains
Yeah,
Fan
May.
Fest in May, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, like I'm looking forward. Just like keep your eyes out for the next the Constantine animation on
Excellent.
the CWC.
Ah, thank you, Matt. That was absolutely fantastic. Always a pleasure and a delight to talk to you. Hope everybody got what they got from the interview. Those who asked questions, thank you so much for sending them in. I apologise for those whose questions I couldn't ask, but unfortunately, due to time, I have to kind of narrow them in. And I had a lot of questions, so I tried to get through as many as I could. If I did miss you out, I do apologise. Hope you all enjoyed having the extra guest on, so thanks, Orly, for coming on and asking your questions. I hope that you Patreons and those who can subscribe and can become patrons and Patreons for my show get the chance to do this in the future. I think it's a great start and a great look forward. So thank you all for your support as always. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been Chris Gordon with Matt Ryan on Hellblazer Biz.